Yeah, so I've been thinking about making this video for a while. Not because I've got it all figured out or I'm rich or anything like that. It's just when I was in my 20s, I made a lot of mistakes and I wish somebody was there to tell me, maybe guide me, coach me a little, tell me what I was doing wrong. So this video is essentially me talking to my 20-year-old self, just telling them the mistakes to avoid because when you're young, you got time on your side. And time beats money every time. Time in the market beats timing the market. And if you're in your 20s right now, maybe this helps, maybe it doesn't. And if you're older, maybe you'll recognize some of the mistakes. So let's get into it. These are three money mistakes almost everyone makes in their 20s. Mistake number one, thinking you'll figure it out later. The first mistake is thinking you'll just figure money out later. You can just ignore it when you're younger, you can have fun, you can ignore it, you can just blow your money on partying and going out, and you don't have to save anything. This is a really big mistake because just learning the essential routine of putting money aside every month and budgeting, and you can afford to make the stupid mistakes when you're young. For instance, if you're scrolling Instagram Reels and you see a crypto coin, a new crypto coin named Monkey Gorilla coin, and you decide I'm going to put $100 in this and it goes to zero. It's a lot better than if you're 30 and you see this on Instagram Reels and you put $10,000 in it and you lose it all. You learn a valuable lesson already when you're 20 if you do this only with $100. So don't fool yourself into thinking your future self will handle it all, that it will all be a dance on roses in the future. You need to learn the routines when you're younger, and you are bulletproof in the future. You have the routines, they sit, they are built into your habits. You have them, you carry them forward. So realize this already when you're younger. When you're 20, start building the habits of saving because the habits you have in your 20s will most likely be the habits you have in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. They stick. And when you're in your 20s, you can still build new habits. It's really difficult to change your habits in your 30s, 40s, but everything does not have to be perfect in your 20s. You don't need to be perfect, but you just need some awareness. The second mistake I've been thinking a lot about is lifestyle creep. And this you don't really notice until maybe somebody points it out to you. When you first start making some money, maybe you're 22, maybe you're 23, you just got your first job. You come straight out as a student or from a high school or anything, and you get your first paycheck. And you start spending it because you've been a student, you have been saving everything, you have had little money, and suddenly you get an influx of money. So what do? You start ordering food home, you start getting these luxuries, you upgrade apartment, you get a new car, maybe maybe you buy yourself the PlayStation 5 you always wanted. So of course you need some new games. So you start spending a lot of money and it adds on, and suddenly you have a completely different lifestyle. And you check your finances and you can't save anything. And this is lifestyle creep. You start making money and you spend it all. And my advice to fix this is actually budgeting. Create an Excel sheet where you calculate how much you're going to spend on food, water, electricity, housing, car, student loans, everything. And by doing this, you see where every dollar is going. So you know how much you can save, you know how much you can put aside. And budgeting just is a key skill. It's just good to know. But I'm not saying you can't spend money on anything. Of course, everybody needs to have some fun. Everybody needs to go out with their friends, especially in your 20s. When you're young, you have time, your body feels great. So, what I would recommend is in your budget, set aside some money each month. Some money each month that's just for fun. You can spend it on whatever you want. If that's games, if it's going out to bars, buying drinks, you can spend it on what you want. But just put it in a budget so you know how much you spend, so it doesn't get out of control. So you don't suddenly look at your bank account and it's empty every month, even though you're maybe earning 100 grand a year, 60 grand a year, 40 grand a year, I don't know. Just any number, any salary you can have. Just you need to learn how to budget so you don't experience lifestyle inflation, so it goes out of control. Another big mistake a lot of people make is getting a house that's too expensive for them. And this is actually pretty hard to not do because everything has gotten so expensive. But this is actually something a lot of people don't talk about. There are a lot of people with these expensive houses, their lives look great, but they're not able to save anything because their housing takes most of their paycheck every month. And this is a pretty dangerous situation to be in because if you experience any volatility in your finances, maybe you lose your job, maybe you get sick and you have to be gone from work for a long time, then suddenly your house becomes a huge liability. And I'm not a financial advisor. So for this solution, I would actually advise you to speak to a financial advisor and ask them straight up, how much can I spend each month on housing? How much can I spend? And be realistic with me. And then they will probably give you a straightforward answer. And the next mistake I've been thinking a lot about is avoiding to invest because it feels too serious. I experience this a lot, especially with people who are not interested in finance. They simply think that investing takes too long time. You have to learn too much. It's too serious. They think that you always lose money. They don't want to learn all of these things. It's just for these finance bros. So for me myself, I was actually quite lucky. When I was young, I saw a couple of videos about compound interest and it taught me a lot. And I learned early on when I was like 16, 17, that if you just put a couple of $100 aside, it can grow to amazing sizes if you experience compound return. However, I was also scared of losing my money, and this is a kind of mindset you have to turn around. Because when you invest, you can lose all of your money. It can happen. And when you're beginning, if you're not really interested in finance, just avoid picking single stocks. Look at ETFs or mutual funds or something simple so you can just get the routine of investing and so it doesn't feel too serious. So when I began myself, what I would do was just put a certain amount away each month. When I began getting my first paychecks, I just began putting a set amount away each month. It doesn't have to be a lot at all. Maybe $50, $100, $200. When I had my first job, I could probably invest something like, I don't know, $40, $50 every month. But to me, that felt like a lot. So don't avoid investing because it feels too serious. If you're in your 20s, look at the investment calculator and see how much your money can grow until your 60s. At a standard rate of return, use something conservative. You will quickly see that your money, if you plan on retiring, for instance, at 65 and you're 20, if you can put money aside for 45 years and you get the rate of return at, for instance, 6%, that money will grow so much. It will shock you if it's your first time seeing this. So please look at an investment calculator from a professional site or something like that, and you will see that your money can grow a lot, even with small amounts. And that was my last mistake. So if you're in your 20s watching this, you're probably not behind, even if it might feel like you are. Most people mess up their money in their 20s, so you're not alone at all. In your 20s, a lot of people they don't pay attention, you're studying, you just get out into a job, you get your first paychecks, and you spend it all. And it's completely normal. But if you can fix these mistakes early on, it will help you a lot in the long run. You can get ahead of your peers by doing simple things in your 20s. It will be much harder in your 30s, 40s, 50s, when people are established. They're already saving. They're already building businesses. In your 20s, a lot of people are just looking around. They're getting settled. They get their first job. They get girlfriends. They get married. They get kids. You already are a leg up on most people. You're ahead. And if I was talking to my 20-year-old self, these are the mistakes I would tell him to fix.